This movie presents a small slice in the history of WikiLeaks, not taking it from its beginning, but sort of as it's already up and running and as it sort of quickly emerges as this powerful force, leading up to a moment now about 2.5 years ago when the Afghan war logs and then the diplomatic cables are released and the organization itself starts to come apart. The attempt was never to say, "Oh, this is it. This is right. This is the right way to look at this material." It was more just to present information that I think people weren't aware of before in an entertaining way, in the form of a dramatic thriller, a journalistic thriller, but still to show all sides of a complicated issue. And I hope at the end leave people wanting to kind of learn more. The movie is based on two books. One is by Daniel Domscheit-Berg, who is played in the movie by Daniel Brühl, and he was one of Julian's right-hand men during this crucial period, 2008 to 2010, in the history of WikiLeaks, and then later on wrote a book after he split from Julian. It's also based on a book by reporters from The Guardian. So one of them is a very sort of intimate look from the inside, and one of them is an interesting, pretty exhaustive overview from reporters who talked to hundreds of people. It was exciting to be able to cast, obviously Benedict Cumberbatch, who is already a major star because of Sherlock Holmes in England, and he's well known here, but still I think he's just coming into his own in terms of kind of middle America. And Daniel Brühl, who he's sort of the everyman hero of the movie. And because the movie has a certain style where the events are so recent, you really want to feel as though you're there as they're happening. It was very helpful to have an actor who doesn't come with a lot of baggage, at least in this country. The press has always been known as the fourth estate, with the first estate being the clergy, the second estate, nobility, the third estate, commoners. But this term, the fifth estate, has emerged recently, and it represents kind of the citizen journalism that's emerged in the age of the internet. Everyone can choose their own news based on their own ideology. And you can live in your cocoon of whatever your biases are and find news that confirms that. And there are things that are true on the internet, and there are things that aren't true on the internet. So who's ultimately going to be able to help us distinguish between those two? That's been a traditional role of traditional journalism, the fourth estate, but that takes money. And, whether that'll be supported into this new century is a real question. And what's going to replace it is a real question. It's one of the issues that gets raised by this film. The actual getting of the story and staying one step ahead of people who don't want you to have the story gives it this real tension, So I hope, I found it's been true showing it to people that you're kind of on your edge of the seat the whole time, even though you think you know the outcome, but you don't really know how it happened. So more than anything, it plays out as a thriller. Basically, what we're looking for is the kind of tension between the glass, steel, corporate world of power, whether it's banks or government, things that WikiLeaks was going to take on, and the kind of grassroots, homemade, hand-painted graffiti world that Julian and Daniel live in. It's clear he's a great actor. He's a great actor who is, people always say that, at the end of a career that an actor's list of movies becomes their biography or autobiography, I felt like he was an actor who we just knew enough about to know we wanted to know a lot more. And I thought that was very, very appropriate for Julian.